First, as I do before any student group in every class in every school, live long and prosper. One of the controversies, particularly on the East Coast, has to do with Thomas Jefferson and slavery, and the idea that Thomas Jefferson didn't care about slavery. I want you to know that if you looked in the rough draft of the Declaration, that exists. Thomas Jefferson wrote a plank against slavery. He called for the ending of the British slave trade, which was the American slave trade. The problem was that in a political process, which this was, you had about 84 edits to the rough draft of the Declaration of Independence. And one of the things taken out was his initial ending of slavery in the Declaration. Imagine for a moment Thomas Jefferson had his way, and it was in the Declaration, and that it survived through the Revolutionary War, and that it survived the Constitutional Convention. Just imagine Africans becoming Americans without the Civil War. Imagine no segregation. Imagine no Jim Crow. Imagine no Civil War. If only Thomas Jefferson had had his way. The Declaration is about more than Boston Tea Party. And it's about more than taxation without representation. Those are the things we've learned in school. Those are the things that stick with us. But it was far more than that. Those were small pieces in the picture. It was about a universal declaration of human rights on top of American rights. And it is that dealing with human rights, really when we're talking about humanity versus inhumanity, civility versus cruelty. It is those factors that have made the Declaration loved around the world. Everyone who signed the Declaration put a target on their backs. And if they lost the war, off with their heads, arms, legs, and feed them to the alligators. That's what King George would have done. The point of no return. The Declaration of Independence. Second Continental Congress. July 4th, 1776, United States of America. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. And accordingly, all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. And that as free and independent states, they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do the other acts and things which independent states may of right do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.